Welcome back to the session. So we have seen in the last session, we have seen the various rules to be followed for data types and variables, right? How a variable should be there. A variable name can be of any combination like alphabet, digits and underscore, with the provision that the first character is an alphabet or underscore. So that 32 characters is the maximum length of the thing. So the next one is the next data type after character and integer. It is a float. So in the previous two data types, we have seen that integer and character will go in a dial. Right? So suppose if it is a character, then the range of character is minus 128 to plus 127. So suppose if we are assigning char ch, that is char ch is equal to 128, suppose. This is called declaration plus initialization. When you do like this, then the maximum range of the character is only 127, but here we have assumed it as 128. This is out of range, but it will not say any error, but instead of that it will go to minus 128. This minus 128 will get stored. The next number to 127 is minus 128 as far as the character. So this is go in a dial. So this is what I have told in the previous session, right? So same way in integer also. But as far as the float is concerned, we don't have a dial like this. So the limit is this one, minus 3.4 e power 38 to plus 3.4 e power 38, correct? So this is the range of float. Suppose if I am going for a number which is more than this, which is stored in the float variable, then it will say it as plus infinity, and here it will be minus infinity, and it will not store any number as in the case of character or integer. This is called as positive overflow, negative overflow. Positive underflow, that is 3.4 e power minus 37. Less than that, if I am giving anything, then that is called positive underflow, and this is negative underflow. Okay, and here this is positive 0 and negative minimum. So like that we will get the answer. Okay, next. So this is an important topic. People may think it is all very simple topics, but lot of basic things are available in this. Whenever it is going for a competitive exam, kind of placements or whatever competitive exams you are going on, so they will be checking only these kind of fundamentals, right? So when you do a operation means there are various operators called arithmetic operators, your unary operators, ternary, unary, binary and ternary operators are there in C language. Okay, so the basic arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Apart from that, modulo operators available here. So whenever let us have only the arithmetic operators as of now, right? So whenever we do arithmetic operation with two integer operands, whenever we do an arithmetic operator, plus, minus, subtract means multiplication and everything, whenever we do arithmetic operation on two integer operands means integer constants, suppose 3 plus 4. So 3 is an integer constant and 4 is another integer constant. When you do an operation with two integer constants, then the result is going to be an integer constant. So nothing big deal with that, naturally. Suppose two float constants are there. when you do an operation, an arithmetic operation with two float constants, then we will get a float value as the output. Suppose it is 3.1 plus 4.3, something like that. This is called a float constant. 3.1 is a float constant, 4.3 is another float constant, then we will get the result as a float. So as of these two, it is very clear. There is no doubt about it. Everybody can accept it, and it is very basic. Okay. Now, when it is coming to integer and float, suppose when I am adding 3 plus 4.3, 3 plus 4.3, then what will happen is the integer will be promoted to float. So 3 becomes 3.00 plus 4.3. So the first operation done by the compiler is 3 is promoted to float, that is 3.0, and then the result is a float. Okay, fine, cool. So then coming to this, on assigning a float to an integer, suppose when I am doing this, I am declaring a as an integer, and with a, suppose if I am assigning 3.14, right, pi, this is the value of pi, right? When you that is a is assigned with 3.14 or 3.14 is assigned to a, then what will happen is the a, we have declared it as an integer, so it will have only 2 byte space, 2 byte memory space is allocated. It cannot able to hold this mantissa part, that is the decimal part. So it will store only this 3 value in this. So this value is truncated, just like that. Whether it will be less than 0.5 or more than 0.5, it will get truncated. If it is 3.94, if it is more than, suppose even if it is 3.9, 3.99, then people may think that it will become 4 value, but no. Just like this 0.99 will get truncated, you will get only 3 get stored in the integer. Is it fine? Okay. So this is what called as truncation. On assigning a int to a float, the vice versa. Suppose if I am declaring the variable b as float, naturally semicolon should be there. All the instruction in C language should be terminated with semicolon, and this semicolon is called as termination, right? On assigning an int to a float, suppose b is assigned with only 4, then what will happen? This int is promoted to a float. So what will get stored in b is 4.000000. That is 6 digits after the decimal point will get stored. Okay. So to have a practical thing, or to feel the taste of it, we will have few examples here. So 5 is a integer. As far as this particular thing is concerned, I is assumed as integer and a is assumed as float. Variable a is taken as float, right? I is taken as integer. Now I is declared as integer, a is declared as float. That is the meaning. That is what I mean. Okay. So I is assigned with this operation 5 by 2. Now we know that 5 is a integer constant and 2 is another integer constant. So what we told is, integer and integer, when you do anything, we will get only the integer as a result. Okay. Now integer with integer, we will get only integer as a result. Now what is 5 by 2? We all know that it is 2.5, correct? But since both of them are integer constants, this will get truncated and only 2 will be stored in I. Right? 2 will be stored in I. So the result 5 by 2 is only 2, and that 2 will get stored in I. So as far as this is concerned, this is a float constant and this is a integer constant. 5.0 divided by 2. 5.0 is a float constant and 2 is an integer constant. So when you do this operation, so as it is told here, integer and float, when we are doing something, first integer is promoted to the float. So what it will become? 5 points. So this also will become 2.0. This integer will become a float constant. Then 5.0 divided by 2.0 is 2.5. So 2.5 should be the result. But why the result is 2? I is declared as an integer. So here the truncation will happen and only 2 will get stored. As far as this is concerned, we know that it is 2.5 by basic mathematics, but 5 by 2 is only 2. 5 by 2 is only 2. Both are integer constants, so it will result only 2. It is not 2.5. So that 2 is stored here. So it is very easy. Clear? When it is coming here, this will become 5.0. That is, integer is converted to or promoted to its float. So 5.0 divided by 2.0, you will be getting 2.5. Since it is stored in an integer variable I, so this gets truncated. So you will get only 2. So 5.0 divided by 2.0, then also the same thing will happen. The result is 2.5, but it is truncated. Here 2 by 5, 2 by 5 people may think it is 0.4. No, my dear friends, it is 2 by 5 integer, right? So this is wrong. 2 by 5, it will just check how many times 5 can be subtracted from 2. So no, that is, we cannot subtract 5 from 2 at all. So the result is 0. Since both are integer constants, you will get only 0. That is getting stored in I. When we are trying to print I, you will be getting 0. So likewise, 2.0 by 5 means you will get 0.4 as the result, but since it is stored in an integer variable, this is getting truncated. Here also 0.4 will be the answer. That is, 5 becomes 5.0 and here 2 becomes 2.0, as I have explained earlier. So 2.0 by 5.0 will be getting 0.4, and since it is stored in a integer variable I, this is getting truncated, 0 will get result. Same way here also. So when it is coming to float, here 5 by 2, we will expect that is 2.5. 5 by 2, since it is a float, we have to get a 2.5, right? But here these two are integer constants, so this will result only 2, and when it is assigned to a float, variable, this becomes 2.0000. That is 6 zeros. 6 decimal places it will have. Here 5.0 divided by 2. So this is a float variable and this is float constant, and this is a integer constant. This will get promoted to float. So now 5.0 divided by 2.0 is 2.5. So that 2.5, when it is assigned with a float variable, it becomes 2.5000. Okay, and here 5.0 by 2.0, we get it. So this is natural. Here 2.2 by 5 is only 0. That is, 2 is an integer constant, 5 is another integer constant. We will get 0 as a result. When it is assigned with a float variable, this becomes 0.000. So this is how all these things are explained as such. Okay, so the inference or the final outcome, what we need to learn is, whenever we need this type of result, we normally expect 2 by 5 as 0.4. Mathematically, that is how we used to do it. So if you want 0.4 to be your answer, then at least one number should be a float. You have to make it as a float constant. A better example is a temperature when we need to convert it from a degree Celsius to degree Kelvin, something like that, you will get 2 by 7 or 7 by 2, something like that. You will get a formula. So we naturally believe that we will go for 2 by 7 when we are writing the instruction, but it is wrong, my dear friend. You have to make it as 2.0 divided by 7 or 7.0, something like that. Otherwise, you will not get the required result. So that is what is the inference out of this slide. Okay. Next, let us get into the programming part slowly. So far we have seen the data types and how an operator will behave, or what the result will be there when arithmetic operation is being done with different data types. Okay. Now these printf and scanf are two different functions. I call it as library functions. Library function. Printf and scanf are two different library functions which is available in a header file. So what is meant by this header file? .h. So people would be knowing about this header file, stdio.h. Most of the students know the meaning of it, but few of them, just like that, it is a kind of syntax error. We have to write down hash include stdio.h and int main of to be done. That is the structure of the program. That is all people may know. So for those people, I just wanted to spend 1 minute here. So compiler is a set of a program which will compile and execute a C program. Okay, so that compiler know the very basic keywords alone. So this printf is a function which is stored in the header file. Why these header files are included? Suppose if I am not including any header file at all, will my program execute? This is a $1 million question. People may or may not think about it. People will say, no sir, program will not execute, we will get a compiler error, we will get a runtime error, something like that people say. Absolutely no, my friends. Absolutely no. The program will execute without include stdio.h instruction. That line is not mandatory. But if you want to give some input to the program, or if you want something as an output to be displayed on your VDU, visual display unit, then you have to use scanf and printf functions, which are called as library functions. All those functions are available in this header file. If you are not going to use your printf statement or scanf statement, or you don't want to give anything input from the user directly, means indirectly you can give. That is what I am meaning it. Okay, so let me not touch that. So if you want to give input directly, and if you want to see the output which get displayed in the screen directly, then you have to use stdio.h. printf, not only printf scanf, we have something else also. Some other one by one we will see when it is coming there. Okay, so this is called as stdio.h header file, and this has to be included in a angle bracket like this, in angle brackets like this. So this angle brackets say the compiler that this hash include is a pre-processor directive. That is, whenever a compiler is ordered to compile a program, it will straight away search the keyword main of. It will straight away, it will never, whatever is available from the number one line, it will straight away search the keyword main. Main is a keyword, right? It will search the keyword. Wherever main is there, from there it will starts compiling, right? So before this, there is something called pre-processor directive. Hash include is one pre-processor directive. That is, we are directing the microprocessor to pre-include all these functions which are available in this header file. Include, the meaning of that include, hash include is that. Okay, hash is anything which starts with the hash is called a preprocessor directive. Any other preprocessor directives are there available? Yes, preprocessor directive called hash define, hash if def. So like that, we will have a separate chapter for that. We will take it later. So if it is available in the angle bracket, the header file is called as built-in header file. Built-in header file in the compiler itself. So these header files are available or coming with the package of the compiler itself. So the compiler, whomever the vendor of compiler, they will be including this header files, right? So there is, if we are calling it as built-in function, built-in header file, then there is something called as user defined. Everybody knows that. Whether is there any user defined header files are there? Is there any user defined header files are there? Yes, my dear friends, user defined header files are there. Suppose if I wanted to make it as ilango.h, I am having my own functions which is defined there, then I can make it as ilango.h, and that should be whichever is not available in the compiler or the compiler package, then hash include ilango.h, it should be available in the double quotes. So if it is an angular bracket, that is angle bracket, then these are all called as built-in header files, and this is user defined header file. Sometimes this also can be given in double quote. It will accept. It may not pop up an error message. But if I am using angle bracket here, then it will not accept. Okay. So this process is possible here. For the built-in header files, you can use either angle bracket or double quote, but the usual practice is to use angle brackets. Okay, so the syntax of using this printf of function, naturally it is a function. If it is a function, then we will have an return type and other things that we will take it later. In a later session I will explain you what is the return type of printf function and what will it return. That we will take it later, right? So this is the syntax of printf function. So printf will have a function name called printf. Within a braces we should have a single means double quote. Inside this we will have format string. Format string can have anything can be written here. So whatever it is written here, that will get printed. Suppose value of a is equal to value of a equal to something called as percentage d or percentage I, percentage f, percentage c, percentage o, percentage x. Lot of things are there. And apart from this, you can have in the case of float, we can have percentage 2f. Percentage 2f means, let me say, percentage d is, it will print an integer. So this, whatever it is available here, so we will, how many number of format specifiers we have, so many number of variables we should have. Suppose if I am using a here, the value of a will get printed here. Value of a is equal to 32. Something like that, it will get printed. Okay. So suppose if I am not, even you can not have any list of variables at all. This can be skipped. Then you should not have any format specifier here. If at all you use any format specifier and you have not mentioned any list of variables, then it will print a garbage value. It will not pop up any error message. So that is what is given here. Sometimes list of variables may be dropped. Suppose if I am having a format specifier here, percentage d, percentage f, something like that. Percentage d is for decimal, that is your integers. Percentage f is for float numbers. percentage C is for characters, percentage O is for octal numbers, percentage X is for hexadecimal numbers. So what is this something I have written here? Percentage 2f. Then it will print the float number to only the first two decimal places, two numbers after decimal point, something like that. So one by one we'll see whenever it is coming. Okay, so we'll be using this kind of, whenever we are dropping, then we may be utilizing this for this type of statements. Enter the values of A and B, so that it is giving an instruction or telling an instruction to the user to enter the values of A and B, right? Before scanf statement, we'll be using this type of printf statements. Printf is not intelligent enough to perform type conversions, that is int to float or float to int. So it will mess up the result, means it will print a garbage value. So we should not try to print a float value, that is if A is a let us we'll take it here. If A is a float value, float variable, we should not go for percentage D. Sometimes it will give the correct answer whatever expected, most of the time it will print only the garbage value. So this should not be done. This type conversion we'll try to avoid between integer and float. Integer and float or character to float, right? With float we should not do anything, but between integer and character it is possible. It will perfectly work. Integer and character, it will perfectly work. So that can be done. Okay. Yes. So these are some of the example: percentage D, percentage C, percentage D, percentage F. Name, age, salary. If name is a character, then it is only one character. Assuming the value of name as A, which should be, this is called as a character constant, which should be available in a single quote. A in a single quote is nothing but a character constant. So that will get printed here. A and 23 is the age and salary is 1500 rupees. Then it will print like this: A 23 1500.60. Okay. So in the second thing, let me erase this. Okay. For the second printf statement, name is equal to percentage C. When nothing is given, I'm sorry, here double quotes have to come in all the. This is getting missed here. Okay, double quote should be available. So percentage C, percentage D, percentage F, straight away it will give only the values. If I am using name equal to percentage C, the first variable has A, so that will get printed here. Instead of percentage C, the value here will get printed. So age is equal to, the value at age is 23. Salary equal to 1500.000. Okay, and here this will come in the next line. Okay, here name is equal to percentage D, age is equal to as far as this is concerned, new line character. So I think there is a statement is wrong, the answer. So first name is equal to A will come, name equal to A. I'm sorry, I don't have a space here. And there is a new line character. It will come to the next line and it will print age equal to 23. This backslash n is nothing but a new line character. In the next line it will print as salary equal to 1500.000000. Okay, this all will come in the next lines. Right? Variables can be dropped. That is the, already we have seen an example. This is another example. Enter the values of A and B. Right. So the next, when I am introducing printf statement, printf function itself, I have told about the scanf. Scanf is one function which is used to get the input, interactive input from the user of the program. Right? It is again standard library function used for receive values of variables from the keyboard or the user. For example, following scanf would let you supply the values of variables A and B. So if I have declared A and B as integers, and if I wanted to, that is A is integer and B is a float here in this example, right? So I would have declared a and b are integer and float respectively, and if I am using the scanf statement, then it whatever value we are entering first in the keyboard, that will go and assign, that will go and store in the address of a. This what is this ampersand symbol? So as far as C is concerned, this symbol is called as address of operator. This is a unary operator, address of operator. So as far as pointer is concerned, this is of major use. Ampersand and star, there are two unary operators, ampersand and star. So they are called as address of operator and value at the address operator. Okay, so whenever I am entering the first value, whatever I am entering, so that will get stored in the space which is allocated for a, right? Address of a means wherever this is stored. Suppose 4000 and 4001. So two memory spaces will be stored if it is an integer. So whatever value we are entering here, this will go and get stored in this address. So that is why this address of operator is used. As far as printf statement, we will just use a and that is name and age. We are not using address of name, address of age. It is not like that. Okay. So only in scanf we will be using this address of operator. Okay. So address of operator should be preceded. Yes. Next we are coming to different operators. So this is called as precedence of operators. So this first block will be having a higher priority, and all these operators are of same priority, and the block here will be having the next priority. This is the top priority, that is all these operators are having top priority. Then suppose one unary minus and one size of operator is coming in an equation, then which will get executed first? Then that is given by associativity. Suppose plus a plus minus a is there. An equation like this is there. So the value of a is getting changed continuously, right? So first what will happen? Right to left. So plus is one operator, minus is another operator which is having a same priority. But this is a binary operator which is available here. This is of priority number 3. So first these two will get done, and after that finally this operation will be done, will be executed. So if a value is 5, suppose if a value is 5, this is pre-increment, that is pre-decrement, and this is pre-increment. So first this will not happen, the associativity is right to left, so minus a will happen first. What is minus a? Which is 4, and next 4 is incremented by 1, so 5. So 5 plus 4, 9 will be the answer if it is assigned with B. So B will be having 9 as a value, right? So this is called as associativity. That is how I can explain the associativity, right? So this is having the first priority. All these things are having first priority. If any two of these operator in the same priority level is coming, then we have to give the right to left associativity for these operators, and for other operators will have left to right associativity. So star, slash and modulo are having a same priority, but left to right associativity is to be followed. And plus and minus, addition and subtraction, binary operators will be having left to right. These both are having the same priority, and all these relational operators will be having logical operators. Relational operator or logical operator will say will be having left to right same precedence. Okay, and here this is also a relational operator, equal to and not equal to. So we'll be using exclamatory mark with equal to, then it is called as not equal to. Okay, next logic, this is higher, that is level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6th precedence level is logical AND, 7th precedence level is logical OR, 8th precedence level is conditional operator. I will be introducing this in the second chapter. Okay, and all these assignment operators are having the last priority, and it is right to left. These two are in right to left. Conditional operator, assignment operators, and this unary operators. All these things are unary operators. Unary operators, conditional operator, and assignment operators will have right to left associativity. All others are left to right associativity. Okay, fine. Next, we'll go into some of the exercises. C has been developed by dash in the year dash while working at dash. Just think on. Okay, C has been developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972 while working at Bell Laboratories, Telecom Bell Laboratories, right? And nowadays it is called as AT&T Bell Laboratories, right? Then, which is available in Texas. Okay, binary equivalent of 762 is dash, and its octal equivalent is dash. Its hexa equivalent is dash, hexadecimal equivalent. So binary equivalent of 762, what we have to do? We have to go for the long division method. Long division method you have to go. I hope people know it. Binary equivalent means we have to divide it by 2. So we will be getting 3, 8, 1, and the remainder is 0. So likewise we have to do it, and we have to take all the reminders in this sequence, and that should be the answer here. For getting octal equivalent, we have to divide it by 8, and we have to take in this order. Hexadecimal means we have to divide it by 60. I know all these things, you know. Then the third question, maximum allowable width of a variable in Turbo C is we have already seen 32 characters. Okay, the first character in any variable name must be a dash or a dash. Do you remember this? Very first character should be an alphabet or an underscore is allowed. Underscore, right? So you have to write it as underscore, UNDER, something like that. A character variable can at a time store how many characters? Character variable can, that is anything which is between a single quote is called as a character constant. That can be stored in a character variable. Then how many characters you can write here? Can I write Ilango here? Is it possible to store it in a character variable? No, my dear friends. So it should be only one character. Only E can be stored in a single quote. It should be available. So if it is this, then it will pop up an error message. This is not called as a character. This is a string, right? Array of characters. Combination of characters is called as string. That is something else. We'll deal it later. Okay. Next, as far as this is concerned, point out which of the following variable names are invalid. Whether this is a valid variable name, all the rules and regulations, whatever we have seen. No, this is invalid. Why? We have a hyphen in between. The only allowed special character is underscore. Hyphen is not possible. How about this? All are caps. Whether this is allowed in C as a variable name? Yes, it is allowed, but only thing is all the variable names are case sensitive as far as C is concerned. Suppose if I am using interest, all small, INTEREST, right? This is a different variable name and this is another variable name. Suppose if I am using only I as capital, Then this is another variable, interest, right? Suppose if I am using INT capital and the remaining small letters, this is yet another variable name. So as far as C is concerned, it is case sensitive. Even you change one character, then it will become a different variable name. Okay, but this is allowed. This is a valid variable name. Salary of employee, whether it is a valid name, variable name, people may think it is correct, but sorry my dear friends, it is invalid, because space is there. Space is another special character which is not allowed by C. Only underscore is the only special character allowed. Okay, so this is invalid. Average, whether this is valid or invalid? No, it is invalid. Why? Dot is available here. In the normal writing, our own habit, we normally write it as AVG dot. We know that it is AVG is average, but computer cannot understand AVG dot. Dot is a special character which is not allowed. Only special character allowed is underscore. How about this one? It is a lengthy one. Whether it is allowed? Only thing is we have to check 32 characters, whether it is less than 32 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 characters. The maximum allowed characters are 32. So this is valid. Same way, we will check whether these constants are valid or invalid. 124.567. Whether this is valid? Which constant it is? Yeah, it is float constant. So this is a valid float constant. This is a valid float constant. How about this 00001? Whether this is allowed? Yes, it is allowed. It is allowed. 0, if anything is preceded by 0, then it will take it as octal number. That is, the given constant is an octal constant with this value. 001 is the value, and first 0 is telling them it is a octal constant. Okay. How about this 0x BC40? What is this? This is a constant? Yes, my dear friends, 0x when it is preceded, then this is BC40 is a hexadecimal number. And how about this 0 capital X? What to do this? Yes, this is also allowed. As far as hexadecimal is concerned, small x or capital X, it will accept it, and it will take it as a hexadecimal value. Correct? Here, yes, 0x, it is a hexadecimal value, 12.45. Is it allowed? No, it is not allowed. As far as octal number and hexadecimal number is concerned, it is only work with character and integer, not with the float number. So this is invalid. And here, hexadecimal FGFF, I think it is valid. Is it? Check it. No, it is not valid. Why means, as far as hexadecimal is concerned, it will have the numerals 0 to 9 and the alphabets A to F, not more than that. G is not in this range at all. So there is a presence of G, so this is invalid. This is valid. And how about this 0.001? Whether it is a constant, allowed constant? If it is 0.001, we can accept it. Whether it can start with point? Yes, it is allowed. It will automatically take it as 0.001. Okay. And how about this minus 12, E minus 12? What is this? E has come. E is available in hexadecimal, okay, but it is not preceded with 0x. Then what shall we do? Whether this is valid? Yes, it is valid, my dear friends. This is float constant. Anything which is having a numeral e and another numeral, if it is coming, then it is a float constant. Okay, so these are the various things I would like to give you today. So the rest of the things we will deal in the next class, next session. Thank you. If at all you have any doubt, please approach me. I will surely help you out. Okay, thank you. Thanks for patient listening. Thanks a lot, my dear friends. Thank you.